Hi everybody, thank you for coming back for part 2. Thank you for watching my other video. I didn't think it would get as many views as it did, but 88 or 81 is actually pretty good. Like I said, it's probably going to be all over the place in these videos. I'm going to try to, try to stay with the storyline, but I really can't because, I can remember the most random stuff sometimes. Sorry it took me a while to get up here. I've been feeling kind of fatigued lately. Lots of headaches, so today I'm very tired if you can't tell. But I'm going to try my best to do a video. Also, sometimes I would start a video and I didn't like it, or I'd accidentally mention a name, or somebody would bring my phone, so I had to start it all over again. But anyway, plus I haven't learned how to edit yet, so I'm always starting fresh in the end. Alright, so I can't remember where I left off. I think talking about when I had my daughter and him, I think the first time he was cheating, or I'm not sure. Some things I was starting to remember is when you are married or dating or, with somebody who's a narcissistic and manipulative, they definitely don't show it right away. They will. It's like little things here and there that I didn't notice. A lot of the stuff I thought was just part of tradition, cultural things of his family, because they were half Mexican, was not normal. The Mexican culture is amazing. I mean, they're all about family and tradition and stuff. So I wanted to respect that. So the fact that, he was the man of the house and I was the lady and I was meant to take care of him, I thought that was just how it went. And that's not how the Hispanic culture actually works. They respect their partners. Unfortunately, he didn't respect me. Everything was him first. Everybody was last, especially me. I've always came last, and I still struggle with that. A lot of the things that were ridiculous. He was a terrible driver. Throughout our marriage, he totaled maybe, 6 or 7 cars. I can't really think of how many total off the top of my head. The year that our daughter was born, he totaled 2 cars 2 months in a row. And every time he would it was mostly rear-ending people or tickets, I had to take care of him. He was arrested one day. The police showed up at our house because he didn't go to a traffic court. And I was like at the height of my depression, or maybe just starting to really get depressed, really bad. And I remember calling my mother and be like, he just went to jail. The police just showed up and arrested him. I don't know how I'm going to afford to get him out. We had no money at the time to do that. I remember struggling to figure out how I was going to, well, maybe if I take the title to his truck, which wasn't worth much, by the way, because every time he would get a car, he would manage to damage it right away. Never failed. He would manage to find a way to damage it. But anyway, I found the title and I get down there, and thankfully they let him off with, there was no bail or anything, and he got it taken care of. But that was my fault, because I should have taken care of it before. I should have reminded him. I didn't even know about it. I remember the last time he got a ticket while we were still together, he came into the bedroom and he called his sister. And I didn't know this. I thought he was talking to some other girl that he was cheating on me with yet again. And I busted him. And he said, no, I got a speeding ticket and I didn't want you to know, so I was trying to find a way to get to and from court without you knowing. I mean, so he was starting to hide those too, which it pissed me off. I'm like, you got a speeding ticket and you weren't going to tell me? He is still getting speeding tickets to this day. He's gotten several since he's left, because he hadn't changed his address yet with anybody. So I was getting notifications here about, his license and stuff like that. I don't know what it's at now because he just changed his address. And we've been separated since January of last year, and he just changed his address with the USPS. And I don't know the status of his license because it was always suspended. Because he didn't pay tickets, he didn't pay the insurance. I know after he left, he wasn't paying his insurance. So, anyway, it was really difficult to deal with. I remember when he'd get up and leave for work and I was stressed, I'm like, make it to work, please don't crash the car, don't get pulled over, don't call me and something's wrong. And when he was on his way home from work, of course I was usually awake, so I would distract myself because I was worried I was going to get a call that he yet again got pulled over, got another accident, was getting arrested for not having a license, because there was a couple times I discovered he was driving without a legal license, and it's like, what can I do about it, So it was so stressful. It's amazing to wake up now every morning and not have to worry about what's going to happen today, because that was what my life had come to. What's going to go wrong that's going to cause me to stress out today? So it was nice. I don't have to deal with that anymore. Trying to think of some other things because I'm really tired today, but I wanted to get this done. I can probably skip forward to when things started going bad. My depression really started taking over, and it wasn't getting any better, obviously, despite the fact that I was on medication or whatever, but he wasn't helping either. He was still being secretive. He wasn't, communicating with me. He barely acknowledged me for the last maybe 3 years of our marriage. It was like kind of roommate thing. I eventually gave up trying to save my marriage probably about 2 or 3 years before it ended. But, I truly believe in marriage. It's for better, for worse. You fight for your marriage. My marriage to me is forever. And you cannot be forever if only one side of the party is participating in trying to fix it, and that was me. The last 5 years of my marriage was just me fighting to save for a marriage that wasn't wanted anymore by him, and then eventually by me. I didn't get married for the paper. I didn't get married for the status. I got married because I thought I was truly in love. The day that we were getting married, I remember my dad sort of trying to convince me, maybe you shouldn't do this. I don't think you're ready. Because I was having second thoughts. And even the limo driver said, hey, we'll drive to Canada, because we were in New York at the time getting married, upstate New York. And, I really thought, like, maybe I shouldn't do this. And I was like, no, it's just jitters. And, I think maybe I was starting to realize some things, but I was still in denial about it. But I went through with it and I stuck with it. And I wish that, people would understand. I did what I did because I truly believed in my marriage. You do what's best, because a lot of people and I've been there myself, I've said, well, if that happened to me, I would just leave, or I'd kick them out. But you don't know what you're going to do in this situation. I thought I was doing what's best for my kids, and it was what was best for the kids to a certain point, and then it became toxic. Our household was very tense. It wasn't somewhere you wanted to come visit. People stopped coming to visit me for numerous reasons, I know. The tension, of course. I have a bug in my light. It looks like a spider. Anyway, it was the tension. You could walk in the house, you could feel it. It was awful. I had stopped cleaning the house, and I was very meticulous about my house. I was vacuuming it twice a day, and I'd get up every morning, clean until about noon, which is usually when I was done cleaning my house. And it wasn't getting cleaned. The dishes weren't getting done. The laundry would get washed and folded and then just left in the baskets. But that's what depression does to you. You know it has to get done, but you just can't, you can't bring yourself to do it. And I was starting to have all day anxiety. My anxiety comes with paranoia, guilt, and anger. And it could be all three. It could be two of them. It could be one of them. I did have a lot of paranoia. I thought because my house was the way it was, CPS was going to show up and take my kids. I remember going to the front door probably about every 10 minutes for a couple of years. And this was, yes, I'm not kidding, probably the last 2 years of our marriage. I constantly got up and, are they here to take my kids? I would hear a car and I was paranoid about it. I was paranoid about the police coming and taking my kids. Or it was really, really sad life to live. And thank God I don't live that anymore. I remember after he moved out, we've been having issues, unfortunately, when it comes to custody. But he had said to me, if I did call CPS, I would just tell him that when we were living together, you didn't keep the house clean. And mind you, my house is not dirty anymore. I mean, I will admit that at the time it wasn't the best, but now it's cleaned all the time. We're always on top of it. Thank God to, everybody that's, pitching in and helping me. And I said to him, Do you realize that CPS would look at you and go, you live here too, sir? You should have helped. And I told him that's what you do when your wife or your significant other or whatever, your partner, is having a hard time. You step up and you help them. But it was my fault because, it just was. It was always my fault. But anyways, going back towards when we were married, towards the end, he, I remember this. He had texted me one day and said this was the day that I told him to get out. Just leave. I'm tired of your crap. He had texted me. He was laying in the bedroom. I was in the living room. And he had said, hey, I'm going to go on a date with a girl this weekend. I mean, he had started to think that it was acceptable to just play like it wasn't a big deal. And I walked in the bedroom and I said, pack your shit and get the F out. I cannot do this with you anymore. And you're not going to keep hurting the kids. And he said, okay. So he gets up and I get the kid. And I'm thinking to myself, what should I do? Well, how do we talk to the kids about this? Because I hadn't prepared for it. Sorry, I thought somebody was coming in. And we sat down and we told the kids, we love you and it's not your fault, but mommy and daddy no longer love each other and that's okay. And daddy's going to go and he's going to leave. He's not going to live here anymore. Our son cried, of course. He cried for about 2 days. And our daughter was too young to understand. But the first thing he wanted to make sure he packed was his damn game system. It wasn't comfort my kids, tell them I'm sorry for failing them. It was get right up, go over and pack that game system. Because the two most important things in his life, well, let's just say 3, were himself, his phone, and his gaming system. That's what his life revolved around. And it was sad. It was like I had an adult child living here. And it was difficult. There was actually one point in our marriage where he got addicted to World of Warcraft. And he was spending endless amounts of money. And he would be he'd be up all night playing it. And he'd go the next day to work without any sleep. And he was missing work because he was too tired to go. And it was horrible. And we got through that, thankfully. But I think he has, an addiction problem. He can't control. He goes from one addiction to the next. So, and the biggest one that took over his life was his porn addiction. And it was bad. There was mornings I would wake up and make sure the computer screen was appropriate for the children because he would just leave it up there. And it's probably still prevalent to this day that he has that problem, but he won't admit to it because there's nothing wrong with him. He refused to go to therapy. The times he did go to therapy, he did not, he didn't tell the truth. And the therapist can tell. I consistently went to therapy for a couple of years. I haven't been recently, but I remember the therapist looking at me and going, I knew your marriage was over with about 2 years after seeing you guys. But it was you who had to figure out that it was done and over with. And she goes, I could see you weren't getting any better. And I could see you were getting worse. But there was nothing, I could say professionally to get you to notice that. That, you had to make that decision to end your marriage. And I really, really, really wish somebody would have said, it's done and over with. I don't know why you're still trying. But I don't regret it. Some days I think, God, why did I do that? But I don't regret it. I don't regret it because things happen for a reason. And you go through the things you need to go through. And I always hated that. Like, God doesn't give you more than you can handle. And I said that, my mom said that to me. I was like, he thinks I can handle a whole lot because he just keeps handing it to me. And unfortunately, my faith in him has not as much as it used to be, because why would he think I deserve that? I feel like I'm a good person. I feel like I help others. I feel like I am very selfless. I put me last. I still put me last. And it's kind of like, and everybody says, the good person gets the shit under the stick. And it just kept dipping it and giving it right back to me. And it really sucked. And I'm waiting for karma to happen, because I believe that, eventually a person who's not a good person gets what they deserve. I feel like everybody has good in them, but, I'm also starting to think maybe that's not the case. But, I guess I'm really tired today because I can't really think of much to talk about. But I just want to jump up here and, kind of give you an idea of more stuff. But, just, to family and friends that maybe see someone going through this, please tell them. No one really told me, this is a narcissist. This is a manipulative way. And I understand where they were coming from. It didn't help that I wasn't very honest with everybody. I don't feel like I lied. I just felt like I was trying to protect my family from knowing the hurt that I was dealing with, because, they could see that I was changing. I wasn't the person I used to be. I was optimistic, bubbly, things worked out, as long as you're optimistic about it. And I lost that, and I still lost that. I still am not back there. I am a totally different person than I used to be. I'm a procrastinator. I struggle with being overwhelmed. I have my anxiety. The depression has, kind of sat dormant, which is kind of nice. But I still have my days. I am very in myself. I don't really want to show a lot of emotion because that was taken away from me, because the showing of emotion in my marriage was, you're crazy. You have no reason to feel that way. Why do you feel that way? You're imagining things. I was constantly I was crazy. Oh, did you take your medicine? Was his favorite line. So I still struggle with showing my emotions and being honest about it, because when I was honest, I got lots of backlash from it. So I'm a totally different person I used to be, and some days I wish I was the old bubbly self. But I know in reality I'm not going to be that person anymore, and I have to learn to accept it. I love who I am, but I wish I could be a better person, because my kids deserve better, and my fiance deserves better, and my family deserves better. But I'm struggling hard with accepting the new me. So, but it is what it is. I still wish that I could just speak my mind, but I still can't do that. So, but back to that. But please tell some, if you notice it, tell them. Go, look, this isn't a healthy relationship. Show my video. I don't know. But thanks for stopping by again, and hopefully my next one will have a little bit more information. But as you can see, the bags under my eyes, I am very tired today. So hopefully I'll start feeling better. But thank you again, and I hope you enjoy it. And once again, if you do comment in the comments, please keep any names that are involved in this story out of it. I just don't want to cause any problems. And remember, this is my truth and what I remember and what I feel is true and occurred in my marriage. And remember, all stories have 3 sides, and this is mine, and I want everybody to continue to respect that. Thank you.